Hello Orchid friends, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at this white Phalaenopsis orchid. I have a lot going on with this orchid, so stay tuned. If this is your first time watching my video, my channel is all about orchids, from what orchids I have, how I grow them, my thoughts on certain orchid topics, to what orchids in my collection are blooming, etc. So if you want to follow along my orchid hobby adventure, please consider subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification. You may recall that this orchid is actually a welcome gift from my manager and my colleagues for my move to my relocation to Texas. After it finished blooming, I kept the spike, but I did took it out of the media, the bark chips media, and observed the roots, and I decided to put it in full water culture because some of the roots were not actually most of the roots were not looking too hot. And I used some liquid seaweed to help it grow more roots, and it did. So it grew actually 5 or 6 new roots since I put it in full water culture, and I think I had 4 true water roots in the water when I took this video. But as you can see, it has a lot going on at the moment. It was growing a new leaf at the time. It also has a keiki growing from the main flower spike, and that keiki also has a flower spike. And now, as you see here at the bottom, it also shoot out another basal spike. So it just had a lot going on, and that's also why this orchid, all the spikes that you see, the new spikes anyways, are quite thin, if you compare them with or against the main flower spike. And I did not give it too much fertilizer because with full water culture, my rule of thumb is using usually using about quarter strength of the recommended dosage. And from now until the end of the video are just photos I took along the way, basically of many stages of this particular orchid's development. And as you can see in the photo there, the one leaf was yellowing, but it was just one leaf at a time, and that one was yellowing for quite some time until it fell off. So I know it was just a natural behavior. But here you see that the spikes were growing, and as time went on, of course, as the spike grew longer and taller, it 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 was growing toward the sun, so it was starting to lean forward. So I was thinking, gosh, I don't want it to be leaning too much forward because um, it was at the time positioned very close to a window, and I just don't want it to be touching the window. So you see how it's curving and it's growing toward the light. So I was thinking, gosh, I have to stake it, and I did. So I used a couple of twist tie to tie up the new spike against the main flower, the older original flower spike. And then for the one on top, the keiki spike, I use a clip and help it to grow along the stick that I provided. The finished product is not very cool looking because it looks like it was just too much, but I had to do what I had to do. And it became a little top heavy, so I had to add a couple more cups or a couple clay pot at the bottom to stabilize it so it would not topple. And from here on, there are, I think, 4 or 5 pictures of the top bloom, the 2 blooms from the keiki spike. They were still pretty decent size, even though just 2 flower at the time. They were still pretty big, very beautiful, and you'll see that in just a couple seconds. And here is the bloom or the bud of the new spike coming from the base. Originally, it was growing 3 buds, and then they were all blasted over the winter, and then it started to grow 2 more buds. And this is one of the 2 that was growing later in springtime, and it finally survived. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see its full bloom, full glory because I was away, and when I came back, it was already faded. The flower was already gone, and I suspected that it was the high temperature that we had in our area that the flower just could not survive for all that long. So the Keiki spike dried up pretty quickly after the flowers were gone. So I went ahead and cut it off. And since it's completely dried up, I cut it off from the base. Very easy to do. And for the new spike from the base, I also went ahead and cut a portion off because the flowers are completely gone, and where I cut it was where the first flower or the first bud was. Just below that, I cut that off from there. I usually keep the flower spike unless they turn brown, because I believe that there are sap or nutrients that the plant can recycle and reuse. And for those of you who are new to this orchid hobby, make sure you sterilize your scissor with alcohol or hydrogen peroxide or even flame to sterilize it before you cut your orchids. And after you cut your orchids, make sure you apply some cinnamon powder to help the cut dry up faster to avoid further infection of any sort. That's just a precaution, but make sure you don't get cinnamon powder on the roots because they may potentially dry up your roots as well. Now, the $1,000,000 question is, should I go ahead and repot this one into semi-hydro, or should I keep it in full water culture? What do you think? Let me know. Okay, this is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to get more orchid related videos from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. I want to wish you happy growing, and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao!